So thank you so much for the opportunity. I think it's a privilege to talk to professionals like the one I happen to find myself with. And just to tell you, I also have a first degree in accounting. And interestingly, that was what I thought, the profession I thought I was going to practice. But for some reason, I thought that this one that we created at school, accounting has two legs, debit and credit. So I thought that we didn't understand at a point in time. We thought indeed it has two legs. But your profession goes beyond, what we perceived. I wanted something that was more risky. I wanted to get into an environment where I don't have too much regulation and controls, but where I can innovate and think. And I think the accounting profession has, and the finance profession has, for the past period, demonstrated that people in that profession can even be economists and a number of things. So I was wrong then, because your profession is now very attractive and you guys are doing wonderful. So the Say asked me to treat this topic, and I think he's given a background and says most of the things that I'm going to say. But what I'm going to do is, because we have this objective to achieve, I'm going to finish the presentation and then ask you whether these objectives have been achieved. I'd rather give you an overview of what is happening in the fintech industry. And then I will not really talk about the benefit, but you can infer from it. I will not really talk about the risks, but you can infer the challenges. So I just want to give you that broad overview about the industry. There is more for us to look at, but then because of time, maybe we could do that another time. Now, we have these two guys, one from US, as we know, that is John F. Kennedy, and then this guy, Winston Churchill, from the UK. And this is a quote I normally use when I'm doing presentation. Now, John F. Kennedy says, change is the law of life. And those who look only to the past and present are certainly to miss the future. Change is the law of life. And Winston Churchill said that to improve is to change. And to be perfect is to change often. The world we live in changes every day. We change as people, and then we change as organization. And our response to change is going to determine whether we'll survive, thrive, or fade away. The way we respond to change will determine whether we'll survive. And survival has to do with the industry that we find ourselves. Will the accounting and finance industry stay as it is? Or is there going to be an explosion? Is the explosion going to wipe a number of people off? Is it going to make some people unemployed? We need to ask ourselves these things, and we need to monitor what is happening. So this is the fintech thing that we are talking about. But what is fintech? It just illustrates an innovation, okay, using complex and new methods, okay, in financial transactions. And it has attracted a lot of attention in academia and also in industry. Okay, so we are innovating using new methods in trading or transacting business. So if we're doing cash, we're in a cash economy now, we have cashless economy. So you have technologies like mobile payment, which we call mobile money, which has received serious, attraction from a number of industries. But for the mobile money charges, Momo charges that, came, which has slowed down what is happening in Ghana. In other countries, the mobile penetration rates and the extent to which mobile payment is being used, mobile money is being used for payment, receipt, and borrowing and other things. It's just amazing. We have the online bank. We used to do face-to-face banking. We have all online banking. Even the ATM you see, they are all part of the fintech, industry. Okay, fintech platforms that today we have crowdfunding, and the crowdfunding is just, let's put it in a way like Susu, as we have known, some small, contribution, but today they are complex apps that are used for that. Okay, so that we don't, the way we raise money, to start capital, to start business, the dynamics are changing. We are entering into a different paradigm. Okay, we have virtual currencies like cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, a number of them. I know the backlash that some of these, coins, cryptocurrencies have received, okay, over the period, the fraud and other things. But these things have come, these payment platforms have come to stay, regardless of the challenges. Okay, we have robo-advisory. Those who are into, this trading, online trading, you know of robo-advisors, where if you are doing that kind of trading online, once you, with the use of algorithm, once you do the first, investment, then what happens? You can then leverage on this robo-advisor using that algorithm to be able to do other, investment for you, to do the prediction for you without you, working with this. Today, there are even robots that does this work, okay? And of course, the blockchain, which is a shared immutable, ledger, and that ensures that maximum security. And it's a platform, okay? There are a number of blockchain applications that are being used. Estonia, for instance, a country like Estonia, the whole country is on blockchain. And of course, you understand that once it's on blockchain, they are implemented what we call a smart city. I'll talk about it briefly. And so all the payment models that these guys are using, you don't see physical cash. The last time I visited South Africa, it was so amazing that South Africa, as much as possible, have reduced the transacting business using what? Cash. Now it's a cashless economy, using ATMs, using other forms of what? Payment. And when they see you handling money, they are surprised because everything is done, using this fintech technologies or fintech platforms. Okay, so online banking, it's also something that has been introduced over the period, and it's just amazing. Okay, so let's see some statistics, and I think this guy was trying to do that. But let's see the statistics. This global fintech investment, as of 2017. Now look at the trajectory. Okay, from 2010 to 2017. 2017, we are looking at 27.4 billion into fintech. And that is the extent to which this technology is being adopted. It's just amazing. That is the extent to which it's being. Let's see this other one. So you have bigger companies like Alibaba.com. They have their own payment platform they call the Alipay. Apple has its own platform called the Apple Pay. In Ghana, you can talk about the My Ghana Pay. You can talk about GT World. GT World is for, GT Bank. EcoBank has their own payment platform. I know GCB has also done something. A number of banks have done the Zip Pay. And these are all fintech platforms that are being deployed. in order to help facilitate trade and also have that inclusiveness. Now, if you look at the SDG goals, you understand? We are talking about poverty alleviation. And one of the key constructs to leverage on to achieve poverty alleviation or poverty reduction is financial inclusion. And that is what Fintech is now on the explosion to achieve. So the more we have people to use Fintech technology to access health, to access other services, then we are bringing them into that ecosystem. So statistics has it that, according to the CNBC, that out of every 3 people across 20 major economies, you have, it was reported that you have at least 2 fintech devices, platforms or services that these guys have used over the past 6 months. And that is crazy. So the question is that if that is the case, then where do we stand as professionals? How do we take advantage of this? Now, another stats for you. Now, this is looking at the globe, the entire world. When we talk about money transfer and payments, China is leading with 83% penetration rate or adoption rate, and that is serious. India, 72%. I've been to India. Virtually everything is done, okay? Through this payment platform. Of course, you know the Indians have the highest and the lowest, and then you get the richest guys in the world, most of them being Indians, but the poorest also, you have them there. So it's that kind of balance. But predominantly, if you go to New Delhi or you go to places where, they are not in the rural areas, you see that these fintech platforms are used, right? And then you have Brazil also 60%, Australia is also doing 59%, and then UK doing also 57%. Financial services, you see China is 22%, okay? Savings and investment, 58%, borrowing, 46%, insurance, and in that order, okay? And the penetration rate and the adoption rate of these fintechs is just unimaginable. And once these things are coming through, it means that those of us in the accounting and finance sector need to rethink and re-strategize of how to take advantage of this explosion so that we are not crowded out. Now, another statistics here, okay? So, when you consummate all what I indicated here, okay, you are looking at China's adoption rate at 69%, and that is very significant. If that is happening, then the economy by no means will grow. By no means. And you see, once you have people more into that digital ecosystem, what it means is that you can trace each and every one, and then you can tax them. All right. And they can also benefit from all the services which are on that platform. India is 52%. You have Brazil, UK 42, Brazil 40%, and then Australia 37%, and in that order. So let's look at Fintech's investment in Africa. It nearly quadrupled in 2021, and we are Africans, okay? Driven by paychecks and lending deals. Look at the statistics. 2017 was 400 million, right? Look at it, 2018, 399, 2019, and even 2021. Look at it. And that is just amazing. And that is the growth. Now, 2022, where we find ourselves, is just amazing. If you look at, below 50 million and above number of deals, these are the legends. You see that Africa has embraced fintech, and the growth is just unimaginable. Now, half of the world registered mobile money customers are based in Africa. Did you hear that? Half of the world's registered mobile money customers are based in half That is 50%. Sub-Saharan Africa accounted for 70% of 2018 global mobile money transactions. And that's amazing. This is the digital space we find ourselves. So the question is, what are we doing? Now look at the Middle East and Africa. Ghana is ranked 11th. In other words, we are part of the first 20. Now, if you read this, Ghana is another one of African fintechs that has seen mobile money adoption surge. Currently, transactions via mobile wallet and phones represent 82% of the country's GDP. Did you hear that? With 11.5 billion processed per month as of what? February 2021. This is correct. Just about 350,000 mobile money users were active in the country in 2021. The number of active mobile money agents also doubled in the space of a year, from 235,000 in February last year to 465,000 this year. We should be doing something, right. We should be, definitely. And what did we do? They're saying that there is a regulatory push for fintech in Ghana. It means that the Bank of Ghana is doing so many things to make sure the mobile mobile interoperability platform that helps you to switch from one network to the other without any hassle is there. I can now pay through Vodafone. I can pay with Vodafone, and then the payment will hit MTN, somebody using MTN, Airtel, Tigo, and all that. That platform brought some serious growth in the digital market. And to let you know, since 2020, if you are talking about the digital market, not the fintech, Ghana leads. And according to Georgia et al. 2019, Ghana leads when we come to digital market in terms of mobile penetration. And we should be doing something correct. The question is, how are we taking advantage of this explosion? What are we doing? Okay. So I've said that all these things that have happened requires that we should change. It requires. Because now there are no ledger books anymore. And today we are not just doing QuickBooks or Pastel. Okay? We are not doing those applications anymore. Or Microsoft Dynamics. We are not doing that tally, accounting. We are not doing those just applications. But what we are doing is serious data science and analytics. Underpinned with artificial intelligence. That is what is being done. And as an accountant or as a finance guy, how do you leverage on data to do some sort of prediction in order to help your company gain, early access to the market? How do you do that? So you see blockchain, mobile money payment, Internet of Things. Now, Internet of Things, we used to have Internet of People. Now, what I'm doing now is communicating with you on your device or on your laptop, all right? People to people, we are talking. But Internet of Things is emerging to the extent that every device today has an IP. IP stands for Internet Protocol. That even your iron, your gas cooker, your saucepans, everything in the house has an IP, and they can communicate. In our Greek, they've been able to give an IP using very small devices. They give it an IP that they can monitor the health of crops. That is the extent to which this technology has reached. So they can monitor. They can monitor even live animals, what their health and everything. and the system can predict that, hey, this animal might get sick because of this eating pattern. That is where we have reached. Okay, we have today virtual currency, which I've talked about it. I mean, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, and a number of the coins. China has their own, cryptocurrencies, which they are using. Some people think that this will never happen because the way things are going. Guys, we were here, we never knew that today every single individual will own a mobile phone, but that has happened. We never knew that COVID was going to hit us, but when COVID hit us, it has just shipped all of us, into line for us to do what we expected to do. Today, we are on what? Zoom, having what? A lecture. Either to those times when we talked about online lectures, it was an issue. Even our educational system, the GTech and all, they were not approving online, education or online program. Today, we have been forced into that space. So this is what is going to happen with this profession. And this is what we should be able to guard ourselves against. If you look at the speed at which these technologies are emerging, and you look at our curriculum, what we are taught at school, you ask yourself if we'll be able to meet that that demand. Can we meet the demand? Can we stand to the test of time? So there's always a skill gap. This skills gap is there. So there are some of us who we wrote exams by answering some questions. I remember those times. They can even set a question which is wrong, and people will struggle to answer those questions. It was just amazing. Okay, but today we have since moved from that approach. It is not just balancing, the account. You don't need to balance. We don't need to be trained on how to balance the account. We have grown past that because the system can do that. There is no debits, left or credit right. You don't have to write any T account. You need somebody who knows how to use the system to be doing the entry. The system will already do the alignment and give you the trading profit and loss account, give you the notes to the account, give you the other, additional information you need, and even to that extent, begin to do some prediction, looking at past trends and tell you that it's possible that our sales can be projected as this because there are some variables that the AI has taken advantage of to do those predictions. Using machine learning, it's able to know that in the next 5 years, this is what we are looking at. We are now not preparing trading profit and loss account at the end of the year, the following year to read to people. People are doing it real time. If they need it now, they can get it. So once you are waiting to prepare at the end of the year and read to the AGM people are preparing it daily because the system tells them what to do. Okay? All they need is to do the entries, and that is it. If you are not very careful, if you watch this Will Smith film, Robots, iRobots, you will know that even that's about 20 years ago, when that film was done, they were predicting that very soon we'll be having robots as companions. You'll be having robots as a colleague at work, and very soon they will take the job from us. So we need to position ourselves. And if we don't position ourselves and take advantage of this trend and get ourselves into the space, we will be crowded out. For instance, instead of doing just, going to learn this accounting, debit the receiver and credit the giver, instead of taking these ICA courses alone, we would need to get into that space where now we lead in the development of these packages. Or we become advisors because we ourselves have taken a course, in that space. Because if we don't do that, we have an issue. Now, what is also very intriguing and very frightening is this. In 2050, in the next 20 to 30 years, this is what is going to happen. Now, we are not going to have AI for just maybe finance or health. We are going to have artificial general intelligence. And what can it do? Now, this artificial general intelligence is going to do its own financial analysis. They don't need you anymore. In fact, to the extent that this AI can do intentional creativity, being creative, thinking outside the box. The AI can do that. It can do strategic thinking. So those of us in that space where we offer services of developing strategic plan, adding the market survey, and then the financial projection, all those ones, these things will be done by AI. Emotions. If I'm talking to you and you express it in your face that a sign of maybe anger, that expression in your face, the AI will be able to know that you're angry. We are using emojis to do it today in communicating. This is instant. Emotions, casual reasoning, common sense. Can you just imagine? Common sense. You have artificial general intelligence doing that. Counterfactual thinking. That if you are thinking of something and then another thought comes in, just to negate what you are, the AI will be able to know your thinking patterns. And even consciousness. Consciousness. Can you just imagine? So the immediate use case is to have a self-aware AI that institution can consult to solve problems that were previously impossible. Today, that is what is being done. We are moving into the smart cities. And remember, the idea of smart city all hinges on what? The idea that we want every device, including the human being, to connect into an ecosystem so that we can regulate activities. So, I mean, Tesla vehicles are, on explosion now. People are buying Tesla vehicles. Say was talking about 5G. Say we are gone past 5G. Now they are talking about 6G. And if we talk about 1G, 2G, let me just explain. Take 1G as what? First generation. So we're using mobile phone where the bandwidth, okay, of the space and the bandwidth take it as the streets. That we only have one lane. And then 2G came, we have 2 lanes. It means that we can send more data, right? Then we have 3G, that's 3 lanes. 4G, 4 lanes. 5G, 5 lanes. Now the 6G gives us, assuming, we are adding 1 on 6G gives us what 6 lanes. Now what it means is that you can lift 100 gig, and 100 gig is 100 billion bytes of data and drop it instantly. That is what 6G is coming to do. We are not dealing with this small download that, it will keep initializing. No, you are taking 100 gig and you can just drop it. Because without 6G, these innovations, these smart cities cannot work. So you have autonomous driving where these cars are driverless vehicle. They can drive you to wherever you are going. They will leverage on Google Maps. They know everywhere. They can decide where to park. They look at parking spaces that are cheaper and they go and park. And when it's time to pick you, they will come and pick you. All right. The issue of traffic will be a thing of the past because the cars know the distance, the spaces that they would need to allocate to each self, and there will be no traffic light, but these cars will work with very minimum, rate of accident or traffic. And that is where we are getting into. All right. When there's a blockage somewhere, they know. When there's an accident somewhere, they know. Relief services, which are powered by drone, by themselves can just, once they receive the alert, they will go and salvage the situation. Fire service, police service, all these things are integrated. And so when you are found culpable of the law, you pay. But once your vehicles are driverless, it's it's nearly impossible to be, to decide to use it, other routes or decide to do something against the law, because all these things have been integrated. The driverless vehicle will not flout the law. Okay, so that's where we are getting into. Now, so I did something. This paper has been, this one has been submitted for publication in one of the Scopus Index journal. That's one we did on port blockchain. Now, this is what, we propose for the port. I'm in the port industry, that we have a blockchain-enabled terminal operating system, where this is in a immutable distributed ledger, that there is visibility in all that we are doing, and the level of security is very high. And if you watch here, fintech and cryptocurrency platforms is what we are subscribing. So somebody will ask, what will be the future of the banks? They need to re-engineer. They need to take the lead in some of these platforms. And I'm very happy that most banks have integrated the mobile money services and they are all building their platforms. Okay? They are doing that. So we find ourselves in this space. There's accounting and finance professionals. One advice for you. What should you do? Take a short course in AI, artificial intelligence. Take a short course in data science. Learn how to mine data. Learn how to understand the importance of data. Let me tell you the truth. Do something in big data analysis. Of course, AI leverages on big data analysis. What's big data? It's data that is big. That is all. So you have chunk of data sitting, whether Excel or Word, sitting on, your computer, and you are unable to use it to make real-time decisions because you don't know how to organize them. We put one data in Excel, we copy another one from Word. We are using Pastel or QuickBooks. We download it to Excel and come and do analysis. Some of the data is cut off, and we are unable to, use this data effectively. Now, the financial and account professionals who will lead this change are those who will just use data analytics and data science, mine serious data, leverage with, underscored with what? AI, to do very serious things. They are going to be the leaders in that technology in the future. They are going to lead, the fintech technology in the future. Okay. So what should we do? What should we do now? Let me tell you this. What is very interesting, the opportunities for us, is that the fact that we connect to the internet, the fact that we have artificial intelligence, the fact that these blockchain, autonomous driving, 6G, and all are emerging, the fact that these things are around, it creates more countless opportunities for us. Today, we have more trade. We have more markets, more business, more information, more jobs, more opportunities. And this is the promise of the globalized world. Never in the history of mankind has there been an opportunity to sell as many goods or services as possible as we have it right now. It has never happened in the history of man. This generation is so blessed. Today, anything you want, when you go online, you have it. If it is not YouTube, it's something else. You get it. Anything you want. You have databases in excess of petabytes, which are there. And anything you type, you don't have a video. And the way to go now is to leverage on data. Data is more expensive than oil. Data is more expensive than gold. There is no commodity, as expensive as data. If you don't want to be crowded out, take a course in AI. Take a course in big data analytics. Take a course in data science and make yourself relevant. Now, that is what is happening. The fintech technology is an explosive one. It's a disruptive one. Disruptive one means that as these technologies are emerging, the old ones might not be compatible. It means that any fintech technology you adopt, you have to scrap all the other investments that you have done in existing systems. You have to scrap them and they adapt to this new technology. It means that as people were trained on those technologies, they will be sacked. They will go home. All right. If you don't have that, technical know-how, you are excluded. And that is the disruption we are talking about. And it's coming very fast. Charles Darwin once said, when there was this flood, it's believed, that's Big Bang, theory, that when this flood happened, Charles Darwin said that those who survived, they were not the strongest. They were not the strongest species, nor were they the intelligent ones, but it was those who were adaptive to change, who could adapt to the change. So if you are willing to run with what is happening, then what it means is that it's going to help you position yourself what is about to happen in the future, so that you will be part of the movers and shakers, the campaigns in that industry. How can we have fintech and we don't have the account and financial, professionals leading that change? But they have left it for the IT guys, and they are being the financial advisors because you teach them the algorithm to develop. They leverage on your intelligence. The financial accounting, financial reporting standards and all has been integrated to the extent that it serves as some level of compliance. So all these things were done by you guys. So how can we not lead? In the next generation, if that industry will do well and there will be minimal errors in what we are doing, it will require that we, the accounting and financial professionals, we lead that change. And I ask a question, can we do without this technological explosion and disruption? Can we do without it? The answer is yes. You can decide not to even adapt. But if you decide not to adapt, that's what you have to do. You either die or live with the pain of failing to adapt. This guy is a Kung Fu master, and I know, you and I know that when it comes to Kung Fu fights, the masters are never beaten, all right? He's called Osenshi Shiba. He says those who are skilled in combat do not become angered. Those who are skilled at winning do not become afraid. Thus, the wise win before the fight, whilst the ignorant fight to win. May we be able to fight this financial, the fintech, explosion. May we be able to anticipate so that we will win before the fight. If we wait for this explosion to engulf us, it will be very difficult for us to fight to win. Thank you so much for your time, and I would stand by for your questions. Say, you can take it over.